Joining us now for more is Chris Stokell-Walker, who's a technology journalist and author in Newcastle in the UK. Chris, now this has been a highly anticipated IPO and we're hearing now that it's heavily oversubscribed. Does that reflect confidence in SpaceX's current business, or are investors buying into a vision of the future that may still be decades away?
I think it's a little bit of both. With Elon Musk, he has redrawn the way in which many industries work. And so I think for that, it is a vitally important future bet. The idea that he is going to effectively produce a space-based economy is something that sounds like it might be science fiction, but with Elon Musk, he's managed to break through traditional norms and create businesses out of things that you might have thought were science fiction, even just 20 years ago, if we look, for instance, at electric vehicles. So some of this, I think, is based on common sense investing and thinking, well, actually, in the short term, at least one arm of SpaceX's business, which is its Starlink satellite internet providers, that is a very good, profitable business. The others, much less so. But actually, I think here investors are saying, well, look, this isn't just a bet in the short term. This is a bet 10, 20 years down the line. If Elon Musk manages to do what he says he's going to do, that becomes enormously important.
Now, one of the key risks is short-term profit taking. How likely is a volatile start to trading despite the strong demand?
Yeah, we've seen this previously with lots of big tech IPOs where they rocket up in the first day of trading and then they manage to crash down as people try to exit and make a quick buck. I think that is inevitable in many ways. I think probably, we've talked about the fact that this is oversubscribed, so we will see this go up in valuation from that $135 a share that they are trying to get throughout the course of the day. I wouldn't be surprised if early next week we start to see a little bit of a crash. Generally, this sort of thing does happen with a tech company. But if you look at some of the Magnificent Seven, for instance, the big seven tech companies, which are really concentrated at the core of the traded market at the minute in the United States, they had the similar sort of bump at the start. And actually, over the long term, they became enormously profitable businesses for those who stuck around with the stock itself.
So what does the overwhelming demand for the offering tell us about investor appetite for large-scale tech and space investments?
I think it tells us that there is a potential here, and a real potential. People are believing what Elon Musk is saying in part because he has done this before, where what he says as a business sounds improbable, but actually then it becomes real. Now, with what he is pitching here, this is very much improbable at the minute. We talked about AI-1, the sort of new satellite that he is planning on launching, that is nowhere near being ready to actually go into orbit, but it would augur a new future if it does succeed of AI space-based data centers, which is a potential miracle if it happens for the future of AI development, because ultimately we are limited by resources, by population, by frankly just people not wanting data centers near them here on Earth. But the real challenge, I suppose, is people want to find some money in this AI investment, and SpaceX has managed to position itself as being the infrastructure provider of choice, just as it has, by the way, for the space industry. And that, I think, is one of the important things. It really is looking like it has a dominant position here.
Well, we'll have to wait and see for that IPO later in the day. Chris Stokell-Walker, thank you for speaking to us.